Hey everybody, John here. Just a quick note before we get to this week's episode. We recorded this leading up to the start of the Knicks Mavericks game last night. Before that, it actually tipped off. So news of the Damian Lillard injury, as well as Josh Hart's Knicks record-setting 9th triple-double hadn't happened yet. Neither had the first time in team history, Cat and Josh Hart, two teammates, get triple-doubles. I just wanted to call that out before we get to the episode. You'll see why as we get into it. Without further ado, here it is, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned. Peace, y'all. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Nick Energy Podcast. Although this week it might be better described as the Sad Nick Energy Podcast. Rough week in Knicks land. Marky, how you doing, buddy?
Not as good as I could be if we took care of some of these games this past week.
What, you mean losses to the Spurs and Hornets aren't what you wanted out of this season?
I didn't see those coming, but apparently Jalen Brunson means so much more to the offense than even we Jalen butt-sniffing lovers could imagine,
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. It's not good. It's not good at all. Well,
I am very, very pessimistic.
Just to go into it in detail, since we last spoke, as mentioned, the Knicks lost to the Spurs, then the Knicks lost to the Hornets. They did their best to lose to the Wizards, but ended up winning.
They did.
And as we record right now, the Knicks are getting ready to play the Dallas Mavericks, which let's hope it's a win, but you never know.
Is Anthony Davis back?
I don't think so, but honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, the Knicks can blow it with or without him.
Yeah, I don't know that matters if you could lose to the Spurs without Darren Fox and Victor Wembanyama. So, shout out to Seton Hall Sandro Minishvili, or however you say his name, though. Mamu.
Yeah. I didn't even. They kept saying it during the broadcast, obviously for good reason, because every rando dude needs to go off and have a career game against the Knicks, or set records. Okay.
Yeah. Fun fact: I actually pulled the auto of his rookie year a few years back, and I gave it away because it was so worthless. Gave it to a Seton Hall alum, though. So fan
still pretty much worthless.
Yeah, pretty much.
We are, according to ESPN Analytics, we have an 86.2% chance of winning the game prior to tip-off. So
cool. Well, let's hope that 13.8% doesn't come true.
Look at you, little mathematician guy over there.
Hey, perfect 800 math SAT. Shout out to 18-year-old John or 17-year-old John Kolnowski.
Shout out to people who are our age, where 1600 was the max you could get on your SATs before they changed it.
No writing, baby. Don't give me that writing SAT section. I don't want it.
Oh, you didn't get a perfect 1600?
What? You said 1600. I was saying yeah, because they didn't have the writing section. That's all I was talking about. It's a different score now. It has been for some time.
Wait, they don't do the writing anymore?
No, they do the writing. You and I did not have writing. This is turning into a very interesting topic of conversation.
Yeah, never mind. Let's get off this.
All right.
I thought I did write something.
No, you didn't write anything. We had math and verbal. Okay. Maybe you took the ACTs. They had writing when we were doing that. But all right, enough on the standardized testing corner. We are still a Knicks pod, contrary to popular belief.
We are.
We are not picking up the slack for the no longer in existence Department of Education, I swear. All right. I personally don't really want to talk about the last week of games, but is there anything else you would like to touch on from that run of 3 games I just mentioned?
No, I mean, I still think we did get to see Kolek against the Wizards. That was nice.
We'll probably see a lot more Kolek tonight and this week, as long as Deuce is out.
Deuce is out. So, that was a good positive I took away.
Yeah, as somebody who's been calling for more Tyler Kolek all year long, you get what you wish for. I just sure wish it was under different circumstances. I didn't want him to replace both an injured Brunson and Deuce. I wanted him to play with those guys. I thought I thought they could all play together and have fun and be friends. It wasn't a let's get Brunson and Deuce injured so Kolek can get some burn.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I got. Mikhail's, I think, needs to touch the ball more, especially when these guys are out.
He does. I meant to save it, but his numbers running the offense while the Knicks aren't winning games, his individual numbers are pretty insane since Brunson's been out. I meant to save it so I could reference them. It's something like 60% true shooting and just crazy efficiency as well as totals.
Interesting. That is, we could get into that a little later, but I think
basically I'm saying
also
Jalen Brunson sucks and Mikal Bridges should run point from the Knicks. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Got it. Mikal, all NBA this year, baby.
Exactly.
Brunson, bum of the year.
All right. Well,
Sarcasm.
should we look past the last week of games and do the exercise we're here to do today?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right. Well, we're not getting out of here. We still have a lot of pod to pod.
No, let's get out of the past.
Sure.
The past lives in the past.
The past is the past. You can only move forward. Got to put it
right.
behind you. Move on to the next.
Yep.
And in true moving on to the next and looking forward fashion, we're here to talk about the NBA playoffs. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the 3 teams the Knicks are most likely to play in the first round. We're going to talk about what we like, what we don't like, who we want to play, who we don't want to play. We're going to take it team by team, and then at the end we'll tell you who we hope to play and who we don't hope to play. And then I have a follow-up bigger picture playoff question for us to go into. So on that note, anything you want to say before we dive into the looking at the playoff picture?
No, let's jump right in.
All right, well let's start it off. I had us teed up here with the Bucks. Yeah, there's 3 teams we'll obviously hit on. Instead of listing them off right now, we'll do it as they come. So again, let's start with the Bucks. How do you feel about a potential first round matchup with the Bucks there, Marky?
Don't love it because they are an experienced team. Giannis scares me at any given moment.
Interesting.
Yeah, it just playing Giannis. It's. Yeah, I don't want to do. If I can avoid that, I want to avoid that. They're surprisingly, like, other than, I know we're going to talk about these other teams, but they probably scare me the most out of your whole list.
Okay. Let's save superlatives to the end. Let's build some suspense here and save the superlatives in the bigger picture to the end. But in looking at the Bucks, I don't know how to feel about Bucks. On the one hand, Giannis, you never want to be the team that doesn't have the best player in a series on the court, and Giannis would definitely be the best player in that series.
Yes.
Whether or not Jalen Brunson's healthy, and obviously all of this rests Jalen Brunson being healthy. So yeah, Giannis
Lillard
scares
too,
me.
you could argue.
I don't love what I've seen out of Dame the last couple years. He doesn't scare me as much. I mean, sure, he can always go off, and he's a threat from deep. I just think the Knicks are set up to handle Dame Lillard pretty well.
Sure.
I don't know whether Bobby Portis will be on cycle or off cycle, or if his suspension will still be in effect when that series rolls
that's
around.
right. Bobby did get suspended. He had a rough week.
Rough season. I think it was suspended. That suspension was like a month ago now. But then
No. I'm not saying like that month ago.
Yeah.
He also got robbed, I believe. Like
I
that.
think you're right. Yeah.
That same week.
Maybe that's how they found the steroids and knew he was.
Maybe.
But you never know what you're going to get out of Chris Middleton. His health the last few years has been questionable, and I don't hate the idea of going against Doc Rivers in a playoff series.
Sure.
So the Bucks, I'm kind of on the fence about. Yes, like I said, Giannis scares me, but I think the rest of the roster matches up well. And the Bucks are on the bad side of aging, whereas the Knicks are still on the younger side of aging. So I don't hate a matchup with the Bucks. I don't love seeing Giannis, but yeah, that's kind of where I stand on things.
Chris Middleton, I don't believe is on.
You're right. Anymore. I forgot about the trade.
No,
I'm an NBA podcaster.
He's a wizard.
I'm very well. I prepared a lot. I swear. No, Kuzma was a nice upgrade for them. I'm just gonna pretend like that didn't happen. But I still don't think Kuzma's enough. And when was the last time Kyle Kuzma played in a playoff series / ever? Did he on the Lakers? That's someone who I think could get lost in the pressure of the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I think he's soft as Swiss cheese. So. Kuzma don't scare me.
So I don't hate the idea of a matchup with the Bucks. I mean, again, Giannis will always scare me, but I think the Knicks could and should handle that in a first-round matchup. Sure.
Again, my one true thing is you hit the nail on the head. Who has the best player on the floor? You could argue Brunson or Giannis. But Giannis has won a championship. He's been there.
Sure.
He seems to thrive in this stuff. The The way the Knicks have been playing, it's so hard for me to
I mean,
be
looking at the
positive.
playoffs is kind of a wild idea with the way the last few weeks have gone in its
Yeah,
entirety.
I'm
But,
like,
we're
if
here.
only we could squeak in.
We're here, and we're going to be in the playoffs regardless, so we might as well prepare for them. At least it's not as bad as a few years ago when the Nets made it into the playoffs because of Durant, Kyrie, and Harden, but they had traded all three of them and had nobody left on the roster. At least it's not that bad.
It's not that bad at all.
All right,
who
next
else you got?
next team on the list, the Pistons of Detroit. How you feeling about a potential first round matchup with the Pistons?
They are a. I feel like we've been waiting so long for like the young nucleus of the Pistons to like come to fruition, and it's starting to this year. Cade Cunningham looks great. Duran, how do you? Whatever.
Duran.
Alsair Thompson is a little spark plug. I don't know. I think they don't scare me. I think they're young. I think just them getting into the playoffs and getting the experience, it would feel like a win to them. You know what I mean? I don't know if they'd have that mindset, but me as a fan, I look at it that way, that maybe their fans think along those lines, that it's like, dang, all right, we played the Knicks, we played them tough, maybe took a couple games. They don't scare me much.
Interesting. I have a lot to say about the Pistons, but before I do, the Pistons and a potential first-round matchup against the Knicks. Before I do, quick non-NBA note. While you were talking, a little alert came through. I don't know that you're going to love this, but the New England Patriots just agreed to terms with one wide receiver, Stefan Diggs. So Drake May's got a weapon up in New England.
Cool. And Stephon Diggs is old. I think he's sliding down the bottom. He's on the back.
That's fair.
The back nine of his career.
Didn't want to mention it. But now back to the potential Pistons-Knicks matchup. This is one I have a lot of red flags about this from the Knicks' perspective.
Okay.
The Pistons remind me of what the Knicks have been the last couple of years, in that feisty, up-and-coming team that everybody knows is going to be a contender and be there for a while, and it feels like this is the year that they're finally doing it. Cade Cunningham looks legit, and while he might not be the best player in the series this year, like we mentioned about Giannis and a potential Bucks matchup, I think if this series were happening in 3 years, and this is no slight to Jalen Brunson or anybody on the Knicks, but in 3 years, Cade Cunningham might be that best player on the court because he looks like he could really still be that good. Additionally, there's an angle about the Pistons matchup that I really hate, and that's that because of the expectations and a lot of things, this Knicks team doesn't have that everybody is on the bandwagon, everybody loves this team of years past. Whereas I think the Pistons absolutely would. And if the Pistons stole a game or two early, I think we'd see a lot of national media attention giving the Pistons a lot of love and jumping on the bandwagon and pushing that momentum to their side. We've seen the Pistons play. We've seen the Pistons play well in New York, and they have a certain fearlessness to them that scares me. It's just a first-round matchup I'd like to avoid. There's a lot of danger there, and I don't want that to be the team the Knicks play in the first round.
Are you looking at it more as like a trappy type situation for us, where we kind of like are a little complacent, just all right, we show up, we're going to take care of this, and then before you know it,
there's definitely some trap there, but I mean at the same time, the Knicks have lost to the Pistons multiple times this season at the Garden, so I don't even know if you could call it a trap game, because I don't think the Knicks could look ahead. I think the Pistons just know how to beat the Knicks right now. Not to mention these are two teams with a ton of familiarity between each other, with how many roster pieces have moved back and forth between both teams over the last 3 or 4 years. Timmy, Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Quentin Grimes, that both trades last year. Think about how many pieces moved back and forth last year.
Right.
These are two teams that know each other very well because of that.
Curious. It's going to be interesting. I see your point of view, but I also feel like the prevailing thought of I don't think the Knicks care about what people may say. If anything, I think that's fuel for them.
I hope so.
Like
I don't know.
media.
I just see a surge behind the Pistons that transcends, NBA media for a while. I could see them being the team that everybody jumps on the bandwagon for.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
I see that, but I don't see that affecting the Knicks. Think of a team like the
Thunder a year ago or the T-Wolves a year ago. Think of that team that nobody really saw as quite the conference finals or NBA title contender that makes a run of the postseason. The Pistons feel like a good contender to be that team this year.
Hey, if I want to say the Magic kind of got screwed over with, and I know that I don't think that's the other team you're going to bring up, but if they stayed healthy this year, I think.
Oh no, the Magic are definitely a team that could make noise in the postseason. Things aren't looking like they aren't going to line up in a way that the Knicks would play them. Obviously, as you just mentioned, injuries kind of killed their momentum early on, and they never really seemed to right the ship. But the Magic are a team that's going to be around for a while for sure. But no, the third and final team I want to talk about and a potential first round matchup is a team we know all too well through numerous playoff matchups over the years, and that is the Indiana Pacers. How are you feeling about a Pacers matchup? What do you like? What scares you?
I have mixed feelings on this. Yes, they're surging, and all three of these teams can catch us. By the way, things can, this isn't as
we'll get
hat
to
in
that
hand
next.
getting the third.
We'll touch on that next.
We'll touch on that next. Not to put the cart before the horse. If knee-jerk reaction, I think the way we lost to them last year with basically the walking wounded out there, none of our guys healthy. The final game ends with Brunson breaking his hand. Whatever happened to Hart where he ripped his abdomen or whatever the hell. These guys were just dead.
Yeah.
And the Pacers went and stunk it up. Right? They got handled pretty good against the Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. This is if the Knicks get them, I think the Knicks beat them down. I think this is a prove it. You guys didn't deserve to win that series last year.
For sure.
We're here.
I think this series would unlock some of that edge the Knicks aren't quite playing with right now. I think it would be the chip on the shoulder they need to get the playoffs going. We've touched about it in numerous recent episodes as well as today. Things haven't been great in Knicks land this last few weeks. I'm at a point where I'm worried that this Knicks team might have one playoff series in them before they run out of fight. And if that's the case, I want that one series of fight to be against the Pacers.
Sure.
I think Tyrese Halliburton has lost some love in the NBA media sphere and just isn't playing like he was the first few months of a season ago. They do have a decent roster. Yeah, Obi always loves to play against the Knicks now. I think they do have some interesting pieces, and they are a fast-paced team. But
Siakam and Turner are nothing to sneeze at.
Siakam and Turner are nothing to sneeze at. Obviously, the Knicks' front court defense is lacking a bit, so they do pose some danger in the front court there. But I still think the Pacers are about as friendly a matchup as the Knicks can get in the first round based on the way things currently stand.
Yeah, if actually, you know what? I take back. I think I said I'd. Did I say the Pistons I'd want to see most? I think it's the Pacers.
We said we'd wait to do that at the end, but you just keep stepping on that.
Well,
you're really not good at segments and building suspense in the structure of show flow here.
I'm just going with the flow, bro. As thoughts come, I say them, bro. Come on now.
Fair,
right?
fair. Okay. So who do you want to face the most? Who do you want to stay away from the most?
Oh, now we get to do this?
That's what I'm trying. I'm trying to make it easy for the people at home to follow instead of you going all over the place.
I don't want to play Giannis and the Bucks. I do want to play the Pacers.
Sure. I am with you. The Pacers are the team I want to face the most in the first round. And in case you couldn't tell, based on the way I was talking about them, the Pistons are actually the team I want to stay away from the most. I'm middle of the road on the Bucks. We have to play one of these teams. If it ends up being the Bucks, that's fine. Obviously, you got to always worry about Giannis. But as a team, I think the Knicks can handle them. Give me the Pacers. Keep me away from the Pistons. That's right. Legitimately how I feel.
All right. You just said that like we're giving people our bet picks.
Hey, maybe
I'm laying 40 down on the money line for Kansas State. Jim Boeheim's doing great over there.
Sports betting is illegal in California, and I never break the law, Marky. So
I know it's not.
That.
Well, that's why you Venmo me once a month, a ton of money to lay down bets.
I do not engage in illegal interstate gambling.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. He's a church mouse.
I'm definitely not that either. All right. Well, we started to touch on it. The Knicks are not doing well. Some of these teams might overtake things. Now we're getting really optimistic in a way we shouldn't right now. But looking ahead to a second round, the Knicks may or may not get to.
Let's touch the money. Let's do it. Let's go.
Would you rather the Knicks hold on to 3 and have to play a second round matchup with against the Boston Celtics, who would have home court advantage, or would you rather the Knicks slide down to number 4 and play against the Cleveland Cavaliers team that would have home court advantage?
I mean, this is kind of okay. I'm knee-jerk reaction. Slide to 4, play Cleveland, but regardless, let's say we beat Cleveland because I preferred that. I'm going to assume Boston's going to beat whoever they play, and we're just going to run into TD Garden anyway. So it's like, are we just? My pick is just kind of delaying the inevitable if all things go right for us. So, Sure. But yeah, I feel even though the Cavs have the better record and have had a better year than the Celtics, it's Cavs all day. Just recency bias.
That's fair. I mean, I definitely would prefer to play the Cavs first than the Celtics. Probably playing them both in whichever order, regardless if you make it that far. I hate playing standings games. I hate, not that the Knicks have to try and lose games to potentially fall, but I would rather the Knicks hold on to 3. I don't want to go into the postseason with some momentum going in the wrong direction, falling in the standings, losing more games than they already are. Let's go into the playoffs on as sure a footing as we can after the way this last month is wrapped up. Let's hold on to 3, and let's face the matchups as they come. Yeah,
I was kind of looking at that as not as letting off the gas or anything, that if it just naturally fell, that we fell to 4, and it wasn't like, oh, we won the last 3 games of the season, but, the Pacers lost only 1 game of the final couple weeks. So, whatever. I do see your point, though. I do want us heading in the proper momentum direction. Going into the postseason. It would be nice. And maybe it starts tonight. Maybe.
Fingers crossed.
I can't cross them. Oh, I can. Yes. Okay.
You look like you're doing fine to me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So shall we look ahead, my good man?
We shall. We shall look ahead to the next week of games before we come back here as we start to wrap up this here episode of the Big Nick Energy Podcast. All right, between now and when we record again, in about 3 to 7 minutes, the Knicks tip off against the Mavericks. Then tomorrow, the Knicks are home against the Clippers of Los Angeles. Okay. Then on Friday, the Knicks go to Milwaukee to play the aforementioned Milwaukee Bucks. Then Sunday, the Knicks are home against the Portland Trail Blazers. And then Tuesday, when we record again, they are home against the 76ers. We will meet again before this game happens. But then the next night, the Knicks play in Cleveland next Wednesday. I only bring that game up because that means the Knicks play 6 games over the next 8 nights. Quite the stretch there. Thank you, NBA scheduling gods. Where were you when the Knicks didn't have a game for like a week and a half?
This year's so weird. I feel like I argue it or complain about it like once every 3 episodes.
This stretch is nuts. 6 games in 8 days is insane.
Well, I have zero faith we win the Cavs game. I'll just get that right out of the way. I think we either lose to the Clippers or Bucks or both. I think we split 3-3.
We won't be able to do the full 6 between now and we get back. So let's just look at the next 4, which are Mavs, Clippers, Bucks, and Blazers. Because those are the only 4 we'll be able to talk about next week. But I say beat the Mavs tonight.
Agreed.
When this airs tomorrow, you'll know if I was right or wrong. Tomorrow, lose to the Clippers. Friday, beat the Bucks. Sunday, beat the Blazers, but it's a lot closer than it should be. And the Knicks have gone 3-1 by the next time we're talking again, which will be Tuesday when they're set to play the Sixers.
I hope so. You know what? I did say I was talking about all 6 games, and I said, let's hope they split them. Hey, I'm a little ray of sunshine, baby. I'm going to say we sweep this. All 4 games we win in.
4? All right. Mavs, Clippers, Bucks, Blazers, 4-0. I like it. Hey, I hope you're right. I think
the guys that need to show up and ball out. And, I think, yes. And I also agree that the Blazers game will be too close. The Mavs game tonight is probably going to be stupid close too. So
yeah, well, that's a game that probably should be close regardless of who's playing.
Yeah, I mean,
Fair. All right. Well, that's looking ahead to the next week. We'll find out if we're right when we come back here a week from tonight. Getting out of here, we have 2 more segments left to go for our weekly show here. Let's do our favorite one of those. Josh Hart triple-double watch. Last week we were celebrating Josh Hart tying the team record with 8 triple-doubles in a season. Tying, of course, our boy Walt Clyde Frazier, who you might notice is on the shirt I'm wearing right now. But
Booth Boys.
Since then, Josh Hart has had 0 triple-doubles. We are 70 games through the NBA regular season, which means there are 12 games left to play. Still think he's getting 10?
10 games left to play?
12 games left to play. Still think Josh Hart is getting 10 triple-doubles?
Again, I'm a little ray of sunshine.
It's 2 more.
I think he gets them.
I like it. I do too. I have faith in our guy Josh Hart. Although I got to be honest, I am really surprised he's not filling up the stat sheet a bit more in the absence of Jalen Brunson.
I'm gonna. Nobody asked to hear this, but I'm gonna say it.
I'm always asking.
Okay, good, because he gets way too many free passes for me. From how I see Knicks fans treating Josh Hart. Yes, he's grit. Yes, he's determination. Yes, he's all these intangibles. But when I need my boy to knock down a shot, you're an NBA player. Dudes are not respecting you on the 3-point line. They're treating you like you're Mitch Robinson out there. Like, dude, get some confidence back and shoot your shot. All right? And I know this is a little bit, again, recency bias of how he's been playing. Come on, baby. You're better than this, Josh Hart. You're better than this. Get them trippy dubbies and go into the 20-point area with a Brunson out. All right?
Hey, if that's
Am I
fair,
asking too
that's
much?
fair. No.
Am I asking too much?
I don't hate the challenge. Let's see what Josh Hart can do. I mean, I'm always going to give our guy who's flying all over the court as much grace as he needs. So, but I guess you're just a little bit more demanding than I am.
I expect things from my almost all-stars.
Well, I think that may or may not wrap up the Knicks chat. We've hold on one second. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong thing and almost killed my recording. That wouldn't have been good.
That would have been not ideal.
That more or less wraps us up on Knicks talk for the week. So now we go off into our off-topic segment, although it's kind of related to the king of Knicks Twitter, Ben Stiller. It's time for Walt Clyde Milchick. What'd you think of the Severance finale there, bud? Season 2 in the books.
I thought it was good. I think they gave us enough answers. I think they gave us some fun new questions. I did text you a GIF of Fonzie jumping the shark. When the marching band came out, I was like, "This is a little much.
Love
a little much."
Band. We love Milchick leading the band. Milchick and music. It always hits.
So if they needed to do that to make sure that Milchick danced, I'm all for it. It's fine.
Did you see the video of the actor Taylor Tillman, I believe his name, doing that at the Paley Fest where he led the USC marching band into a panel for Severance?
No, but please send me that after this call is over.
It's great.
Oh my God.
They have the whole cast and what's his face? John Ralphio. Ben Schwartz is moderating, and him and Ben Stiller are talking about how Taylor Tillman. Taylor Trammell's a baseball player.
I don't know the actor's name.
I think the actor's name is Taylor Tillman. They're talking about how like he just goes MIA and you never know where he is and he's clearly just no showing this panel, blah blah blah. And then you hear like a whistle in the hallway.
Say no more, fam. I want to experience it. I want to experience it.
All right, it's great. It's great.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, so I like fun, so I didn't hate the marching band.
Oh, shut the F up, man. It wasn't that. It was just, where are they keeping all these people with the instruments? But then again, it's like, who knows how big the subterranean levels are in this place? And yeah, okay.
Yeah,
and in the intro, they do show the coffee cup with all the instruments piling out of it. I don't know. And so this wasn't just something that was just thrown out there. It seems like they gave it thought. So
sure.
Cool. Okay.
So I've been nibbling on the edges of a theory that I want to talk through. I've been waiting for this to talk it through with you. Are you into that?
Yeah, lay it on me.
And I feel like part of it is maybe implied by everything we're getting in Severance, but I feel like it hasn't been spelled out yet, and I feel like there might be more to it. So first, do you know where they got the name Cold Harbor from? Have you uncovered that piece of information?
say it to me. I think I have, but I don't know.
So during the Gemma flashback episode with the crib, it says Cold Harbor. Very
on the
small
package.
On
Yes.
the package. So
Yes.
Cold Harbor was always the brand of the crib, and that's why it's called that. That episode that was more of a Gemma flashback, though, was told through Mark's memories. And, you know, it was part of his reintegration. We're seeing that through Mark's point of view, even though it's more of a Gemma flashback episode, and we're seeing a lot of the things in her story and what she's been going through to fill in that backstory. This whole thing kind of came through Mark's point of view, which really makes me wonder how much the severance chip is actually reading Mark's mind and not just dividing his personality. I mean, obviously data refining is putting the numbers into and distilling their personality into the 4 major tropes.
Sure.
But with presenting that flashback that is clearly informing these tests that they're giving Gemma, it makes me feel like the severance chip is able to read Mark's memories to get these kinds of more tests, you know, more tactile, more ironing out what they are. And I'm probably saying that poorly at the moment.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a certain level of the way that Gemma's backstory was presented as in Mark's mind, and with those manifestations of Mark's mind becoming the tests that Gemma has to do to test the severance chip, I feel like there's a lot more to the chip than we realize.
Interesting. That is a very interesting take. It's very, you put it quite well that it's like, quite frankly, right in front of us, that it's like there's a chip in somebody's brain. Why haven't we thought that like it's reading your mind? How I took the box and the Cold Harbor crib was that Lumen is much more further reaching, that they put all of this in motion to get for whatever reason Mark and Gemma are special to them, and that they sent all of this into motion. Because even Mark tells you, he's like, why'd you buy a crib? He was like, it was on sale. And it was like, did they target him, you know what I mean, in some way to get him to build that crib, knowing that all these things led them to their trouble having issues with having a kid, bringing him to that fertility clinic with the doctor that we later see down in, I forget the doctor's name, that's conducting the experiments on Gemma. It's all very fascinating. I mean, and I think Ben Stiller has done a great job. Him and the other guy, the head dude, I really think they're going to kill it. This is going to be an all-time show, man. I'm very excited to see where it goes.
I think, and I hope. When do you think we'll be able to watch season 3? When do you think it's going to come back?
I'd say in a year. I think it'll be a normal timeline.
All right. Let's hope. Let's see what happens.
Maybe it comes out maybe in June of next year, and not necessarily whenever it came out this year.
I don't know that they'll do that. I mean, a lot of these scheduling windows are specifically for Emmy consideration.
Sure.
And putting something out in June is kind of a weird time with the Emmy cutoff. I feel like they're going to aim for this same time frame, which is why I think it's going to be 2 years until we get the next season. This season premiered January 2025. I think season 3 is January 2027. But that's my prediction. We'll see what happens.
Yo, Apple, you got so much effing money. Don't make us wait 2 years.
Tim Cook, fast track it, Tim Cook.
Fast track it, Tim Cook.
All right. Well, I think anything else you want to say about Severance before we get out of there and wrap up the podcast?
No, I think that's it, and I think this will be our last Walt Clyde Milchick Severance chat for at least 2 years. Apparently,
we never did put together that graphics package. Oh well.
Oh yeah. Well, too late.
Too late. All right, Marky. It's been yet another fun week in Big Nick Energy Land. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap this thing up and get out of here?
Please, God, Knicks win tonight.
Knicks win tonight. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Hopefully you're all listening to this in celebration of a Knicks win against the Mavericks.
Let's go.
Don't forget to follow Big Nick Energy across platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, you name it, we're there. I'm John Kolnoski, JONKOLNOSKI, across all platforms. Marky is not on social media because he is not real.
Thank you.
Fun fact, if you didn't know.
Hologram, this guy.
You're just an AI that the people are listening to.
I am a robot. Okay, that's sign-off time, I think.
Yeah, all right, everybody. Follow, like, subscribe, do all the business. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Peace.
Toodles. Bye.